the main man, hey?
He's taken off.
Where is he?
He's just coming on now.
G'day. Here we go. Here on 98.9 Northwest FM, Paul, Mark and the Tech Guy. We're making it here. It seems like, again, we're playing around with some of the wonderful audio or technical challenges. Here we go, Yeti. We do have that. And I think you guys can hear me. Can you hear me nice, loud and clear?
We've got the tech guy here, and every week we've got tech issues. I think that's all part of being a technical show, isn't it? Eh?
It is. It's a great part of being a technical show. No,
and look, you can't even hear Paul now. I don't
know. No, Paul's gone. He's disappeared.
He's disappeared. So again, we've got a few technical issues. Probably because I'm not in the radio studio tonight, helping out Paul, because he normally needs my help, Julio. But we've got an amazing guest, and I'm not sure whether Paul's going to join us to introduce our guest. I'd say he will be coming. Are you with us, Paul?
I am indeed. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. You've got him back.
Yep. We're back. Here we go. Here, 98.9 Northwest FM. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to get rid of the HP and start going to Lenovo, I think, because this is a little bit crazy. Hulo, we need to have a chat after the show. Hey, it's Paul, Mark and the Tech Guy live here at 98.9 Northwest FM. We're live out of the Glenroy studios. Apologies about that. A little bit crazy. But we did start off listening to the very awesome Frank Sinatra and My Way, just for Mr. Mark Watt here in the background. Hey, welcome, guys. Good to see you. It's Wednesday night. We've got another fantastic top show. We've got the very awesome Matt De Gruchy sitting in the chair, ready to announce you very shortly, mate. But, Mark, how are you? Are you okay?
I'm pumped up tonight, mate. I'm extra excited about the night because we found this guy, Matt, and I've met him a couple of times, and I just can't wait to hear his story and have a chat. And I know Julio is really keen because he's got a lot of issues, as we all know. And I reckon Matt's going to shine a bit of light on a few issues that Julio's tried to keep under the cover. You know what I mean, Paul? You know when people don't want to come clean with some things? I reckon that's been Julio, and Matt is going to really nail it today.
He's going to nail it. Gotta love it. Love the work, mate. Matt De Gruchy, welcome to the show tonight, mate. To be a reason for good, motivational speaker, blindness and disability advocate, mate. We're so blessed to have you on the program tonight. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone. G'day to Mark. G'day to Paul. G'day to Julio. Thank you so much for having me. I'll start by telling my story, I guess. Let's get into it.
Well, let's get into it, mate, because I reckon you're going to talk a lot about some really good stuff tonight, and we really want to go deep. So let's just go deep with your story, mate. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Cool. Let's go deep. Rightio. So g'day to everyone who is listening. My name's Matt De Gruchy. I'm 27, and I was born and raised in a country Victorian town called Horsham. Nice. I grew up living a pretty middle-class standard life. It was good. It was all about, chasing goals and saying yes instead of no. It was me mother and me father that first noticed, I guess, at the age of about 7 to 8 years old. Perhaps maybe I was looking just a little bit closer to my schoolwork than me peers were. It was kind of met at the time with a lot of skepticism. So, the stereotypical helicopter parent, you need to relax, you need to calm down. And it sort of sent us on a wild goose chase for 18 months to 2 years of trying to get an appointment, trying to get optometrists that would, check the back of my macula and see what was going on. So long story short, after 2 years of really going through, I guess, the ringer of different tests, misdiagnoses. So I was given bifocal glasses, colored overlay sheets, diagnosed with dyslexia. And for a few weeks each time, I kind of thought, oh, is this working? But then obviously it wouldn't. My vision kept fading. So my parents persevered. Meanwhile, they were told by teachers and the like, don't worry about it. He's just, you're a helicopter parent. But we persevered, and eventually we met this real fresh, optimistic, out of uni optometrist. She had just recently studied Stargardt's disease. So for those of you who do not know, I have Stargardt's macular dystrophy. It's a juvenile form of macular degeneration, and I have lost over 90% of my central vision. So my sight currently sits at about 4% in my left eye and about 4 to 5% in my right eye. So with blindness, I always have, good eye days and bad eye days. But for the most part, I see a mix of lights, colors, shapes, and shadows. So sitting at my computer right now, I'm all ears listening. I can't technically see what's in front of me, but with technology and those amazing things, you can get by and achieve whatever it is you put your mind to. There's nothing to stop you. But moving forward, I guess I had a few instances trying to get the diagnosis that really shaped me in my youth. And at the time, I necessarily wasn't aware, but it was the catalyst for how I viewed myself for quite a few years to come. So I won't say the word, but there was one day where an optometrist was very frustrated with me. He thought that I was a little attention seeker, a bit of a brat, or a bit of a liability. So he did turn and he looked at my mother and he said the words that start with R and end in D. So I'm sure we could all figure out what that word was. It's quite derogatory. And I was labeled that, by a professional at the time that I thought, is meant to help you. And they've got all the specialized equipment to, try and help you and fix this, in quotation marks, issue. So that was really the beginning. And after my diagnosis, it was like, for lack of better words, a switch turning off. I started to lose sight quite rapidly, and I was very concerned and consumed by the fear and anxiety of others not wanting to give me a fair go. I always wanted to really try my hand at things and not just be given something on a gold platter. And I saw around me at the time, granted, this is back in the early 2000s. I was diagnosed in 2006. We've come such a long way in disability and inclusion since then. But back then, we did tend to look at things in more black and white terms. So if you were someone who was blind, people used to think of the stereotypical, the dark sunglasses, the cane. Because I could still make myself a sandwich and be independent, there was this skepticism, and even professionals and some teachers at the time, really didn't sort of think maybe, it was legitimate, the macular degeneration. But, I persevered through that all. But at the same time, whilst that was happening, I really did sort of sugarcoat and shut down. I wasn't open with people. And that was because I didn't want people to know I was going blind. So it's hard. It seems a bit silly in hindsight, but I used to, back in my teenage years, really try and strain my eyes. And at some point, I used to think that, well, maybe if I really strain my eyes, I'll be able to break through this barrier, this blindness. And then I'll be able to see clearly again. And this big bad nightmare, which it definitely isn't, will be completely over. But obviously that was never going to happen. Stargardt disease is still incurable to this day. So learning to accept my disability or going blind was really the start of me being able to step out of my shell and, live a fulfilling life. Because prior to that, wouldn't open up to people except for my initial family and maybe one really close mate. Apart from that, no one knew. And that was because, small country town. I was also quite, I was quite obese at the time. I did turn to food as a coping mechanism. So I wasn't easy target, I guess, for bullies. I was the fat kid that also wore the dark sunglasses. So, I had an experience when I was in school where I was sitting in class and there was a student behind me with one of those big 1 meter wooden rulers, and he was measuring me. And then he said to the whole class, "Wow, look, guys, he is the size of 2 people." And of course the crowd, or like the crowd, I should say, I mean, the classroom erupted in laughter. And I felt, pretty small. And this was at a time where I wasn't even open about my blindness. That was something that I was just facing alone. So there was a few different things that kind of overlapped throughout my schooling that was hard, but I've always had incredible support at home, and I also had the most incredible visiting teacher that honestly gave me the support, got me different accessibility requirements that I needed to be able to complete year 12 and do it well. So I'm so grateful for the people that did help me throughout my schooling, and for those of them who know, they know who they are, and I'm always grateful. But
that's awesome.
Leading up to
Matt,
about,
Matt,
go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely a fantastic, inspirational story, and I'm sure our listeners might want to ask you a couple of questions or make some comments. So we'd love to hear from our listeners. It's just great having you on the show, Matt, and hear your inspirational story. So, okay, so it was your parents and this teacher that sort of helped get you through this whole thing, was it?
So I had a great support network. I've always had a great family, and I'm very grateful for that. Like, I know that I'm lucky to have that. But I also did have an incredible visiting teacher. She was amazing. She was like a mentor, and it was so important at that time. It really allowed me to get the tools, get the accessibility features, whether it's a video magnifier, whether it's a Mimeo that goes on the whiteboard. But it was just ways that I could still participate in everyday life and do what I want to. But I was so against having like stuff that would really signal me out as the token blind kid in the school. I was really concerned about that at the time. So I really wanted to hide my disability. But in those later years, when essentially what really happened is it turned in, my mental health got so low in my teenage years that there was an intervention style meeting with my family, and I did start to seek some help through some counselling sessions. And I still have conversations to this day with my counsellor. So I've had some amazing people that have really come into my life at the right times and really helped to mentor me through some of my difficulties and challenges.
Yeah, gee, Paul, it's a great story, isn't it, of inspiration that Matt's sort of got, but he's got that support around him, but he's also been proactive.
Exactly.
Well, you've got to be, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just saying to Matt before we started the show, I'm just really inspired by how you hold, you present yourself on, and you're talking to different groups and leads, and that confidence has really helped you get through, obviously, and your day to day. But you've got the right attitude, mate, and that's the big, it's a big win, big start, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I guess I have. I really do love the public speaking. I feel like that's what ignites the fire within my belly. But I don't get nervous as such, because I can't see the crowd. I'm just talking to a void of blurriness. So yeah, I love it.
So, interesting. Matt, obviously, there's been hard times. You had this teacher helping you, had the counsellor helping you. Was that sort of what got you through? I mean, because you seem a very motivated bloke, and it definitely helped me.
Yeah, so look, it definitely helped. Like you can only get so much help. Like the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So I always had to take the power back and help myself. So I got fit. I started to take care of my health, my physical health, and then my mental health got better. And then I learned how to accept my blindness. So then that was a huge weight within itself. So for so many years, I'd been holding on to so much baggage and opinions and projections of other people, different comments, 4 eyes, you should get glasses, all that fun comments and stuff. And that it really made me feel quite bad about myself up until probably the ages of 16 to 18 is when I started to step out of that, accept my blindness and not let it define me. So a big thing about when I do my talks is that I never want blindness to be my entire personality. Like, g'day, I'm Matt. I like lots of things. I like music, to travel, challenge myself, all that good cliche stuff that hurts your ears. It's like scratches down a chalkboard. But that's what I like to do. Being blind is just happens to be a part of who I am. Yeah.
So, Matt,
definitely the mentors.
Your mission, mate. Tell us about your mission. You've sort of got this organisation, or you've got this mission that you want to share with young kids and share with people you meet. What is your story? What's your message for people? Like, we've got Julio here, and he's been wandering around a bit aimless here and there. What's your mission to people?
My mission, my vision for people is I want to break down the stereotypes and stigmas that surround blindness and disability. I would like to spread awareness and education, because I honestly do believe that people, for the most part, do the best with what they know. But even in 2024, there is still such a lack of understanding. A big part of, I guess, the talks that I do that's connected to the clothing brand, which I can talk about shortly, is it's to shift that mindset and to give some confidence in young people. So whether you have a disability or not, or whether you can be a better ally for people who might have a disability, it's about taking that power back, because there's so many parts throughout life where we can feel a bit lost and then we don't know what to do in the purpose. So I do try and sort of ignite that and, challenge people to, have a bit of self-awareness and, find what is within them that makes them feel visionary. But my biggest vision is to get us all to a place where, people are understanding that blindness is a spectrum and disability in general. I'd like to get to a place where, it's not so much the barriers that are in front of us, because we're not the ones that put them up ourselves. It's usually society, but continue to break them down for sure.
So let's just go back a little bit. What were you saying to Julio? He's got to find what inside him, the vision inside him. Is that what you're asking?
So we all have something that ignites our passion, Julio. Like, there will be something that you do and you'd know that, wow, that was fun, or this is what I meant to do. So I never thought I'd do public speaking or do a clothing brand. When I was really young, I thought I was going to be like an architect or something. I used to love drawing buildings and all that sort of stuff, or a cartoonist. I remember one time I had to give it was like an award or a bunch of flowers to a teacher, and I had maybe 1 or 2 sentences to say, and I was a complete puddle. So I had no confidence like that at all. But yeah, I think it does happen. Like, you do have to try things. It's trial and error and finding what it is that, makes you want to get up every day and thrive,
So, Julio, what are you thinking, mate? What's your response to going back? Personal challenge to you tonight.
Well, I think I'm not sure how Matt takes it, but small steps. Do you think small steps are important in 2020?
Well, the best things I've ever done, Julio, has always been small steps. There's no such thing as that all happens sort of overnight. I know a lot of people, maybe we feed into that, but for instance, I've been doing the advocacy since 2016. So that's been a slow burn within itself. You have to build your confidence up. But it's definitely baby steps. It's slow steps, and it makes a big impact, altogether.
That's awesome, guys. Hey, if you just jumped online, it's 98.9 Northwest FM. Paul, Mark, and the Tech Guy. We're here with Matt De Gruchy. Absolutely be inspired by you, mate. Motivational speaker, advocate for blindness and disability, and loving what's going on here and just your passion. And obviously giving a few little steps there for the very awesome the Tech Guy himself, Julio. We want to hear from you. Jump onto Facebook. We want to hear from you. We want to, I'm sure Matt wants to answer some questions. Jump onto the Facebook page.
Fire
away.
You're
not already on it. Fire away. I want at least 10 questions, because coming up in just around sort of halfway, we've got the top 7 at 7, and Matt said he's dedicated to get behind the top 7, around 7, and answer the steps of truly celebrating differences. And of course, watch out, because there's a lot more, because it's Mark's rant coming up around about 7:45, and then the very awesome Julio, the Tech Guy. He's got a little bit of a session, but we're with Matt, 98.9. So, mate, 2016, your advocacy. I want to ask this question: have you ever felt that sometimes we just sort of really drab down? It's not working. This is not the direction. Has there been a little bit of a sort of a side swing, pitfall, and you've gotten back up again?
Oh yeah, for sure. Everything's
take us through. Give us an example. Yeah.
So an example would be, I've had experiences where you feel like you've sent out all the emails, you've done all the networking, you've done all that stuff, and at the time maybe it's not necessarily working. But I think some of the biggest challenges is just living and working and making an income, but also doing what you love. So I worked a full-time job. Essentially, I stepped my way up into a shift runner on-duty manager position at a discount variety store. So I did a lot of work to be able to help fund my dream of starting the clothing brand and doing the advocacy. So I had to work in necessarily jobs that didn't fulfill me 100%, but I still enjoyed it help me get to the actual goal of being able to travel, start the brand, because you do need money to be able to make things happen. And you can't sit and wait for it to come and sit in your lap. You have to go out and make it happen.
You hit on something there, Matt. You've got Julio, and not only has he got this search inside to try and find a spark, he's actually loaded. He's got lots of cash. So just picture your clothing brand. Let's hear about this clothing brand, and Julio might become an investor. You never know.
Oh, here we go. That
Yeah.
would be
Here we go.
amazing. But Julio, so MDV Clothing, well, g'day everyone. I'm Matt De Gruchy, and then we added vision onto the end of it and hyphenated it. So MDV was born. It was born on the way to an AC/DC concert, the idea I had. And sort of that's how it first started. It was a first initial conversation. But the idea behind it is connected to, I guess, my motivational speaking. It's about raising awareness for the blind and visually impaired. So every T-shirt has a subtle meaning that's connected to a blindness or something that kind of will make people subconsciously think a little bit differently. And maybe it just shifts that opinion. So I have a T-shirt called the DNA T, and that's all about boldness, empowerment, all that good stuff. And also you'll notice on the DNA, there's a little bit where there's a gap in one of the DNA strands. That's to simulate my Stargardt's disease. So there's always a subtle message behind it. And I love doing the designing part. Also, the visionary tee, I've got a visionary logo behind me right now for anyone that's watching this on film. And the visionary was the first logo I ever launched. It looks very similar to an eye chart, the visionary design. And that was kind of the vibe that I wanted to go for. And I do believe that I can't quite see what's going on the screen, but I do believe there are some hoodies being shown at the moment. So we do the jumpers. Everything is centered around vision. So visionary. What makes you visionary? And it's sort of a question starter to sort of put it back on you and make you have a bit of self-realization and question yourself.
I tell you what, Matt, I do love that visionary top. What do you reckon, Paul? That looks pretty good. Let's have another look.
Which one are you
the
looking
visionary
at?
top? It's sort of the brown one. It's a bit of a hoodie. Do you like that
hoodie.
one, Paul?
Yes.
It's a hoodie. That's a nice one, mate. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
brown.
I do like doing the different colors. So that color I think is called walnut, and then the army green. I've got them in army green and black as well. So the hoodies are always a lot of fun to do as well.
Right. So what are you going for, Mark?
Yes.
Well, there's a one that I don't mind, which is this one you're doing for Phoenix. Tell us a bit about the Phoenix one that we can see, the remarkable one, remarkable tale.
Yes. So this is a collaboration with me best mate, Ben, so Teller of Remarkable Tales. So it's a collaboration, MDV X Teller of Remarkable Tales. And it's to raise awareness for premature babies. So this one isn't necessarily connected to raising awareness for blindness and low vision, but Ben and Shania's beautiful son, Phoenix, was born at 23 weeks, and it's to help support Ben and Shania, but we're also raising awareness and funds for Monash Health. So 50% of all profits from the sale of the Phoenix tea will be donated to Monash Children's Hospital.
How good is that? Not only is he trying to get more awareness around the whole disability and the blindness thing, but he's also helping young babies. So, mate, where do you think you've got this passion? Like some people in your situation might be just looking after themselves, but you're really wanting to look after everyone else.
Yeah, well, I guess it stems from how I felt when I was a teenager. I felt pretty isolated. I felt like I was, the only person in the world to be going through what I was going through and to be losing my vision. And of course, that's not true. When you connect with people and when you open up, you realize that we are not alone and we have so many scenarios that happen in our life that, we can resonate with people over, and we, that stops us from feeling isolated. So I think once I got myself to a place where I had the confidence and some of the tools to be able to have my stuff together, so, I could fill my own cup up first, then, it was just meant to be that, I wanted to naturally help people. So then, I don't, essentially, it sounds like a cliche, but I don't want any kid to feel the way I did as a youngster. So that's what I do.
Yeah. It'd be good to get a comment from you, mate, because you've had a couple of challenges today about looking inside yourself. And I think that's really important for a bloke like you. And plus, you need to know where you're going to put all these millions you've got, your investment. So what's your sort of reaction to this? Because I think Matt's been really good for you tonight.
It has been, because it's been interesting to see how you've actually developed a normal scenario, which is a brand, but put some more effort into it and actually put some sort of emphasis on it. It's like to me, you've done something very similar to what Apple has done with their products. You've actually made it personalized and more of a natural, like architecture towards it. So it's really clever.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah. Thank you, Julio. I can't believe you just compared MDV to Apple. I'm mind blown. I was just like,
right.
oh wow. But that's a really cool comment. And I guess elaborating on that is it was always important to me at the start that there had to be a bigger meaning besides just putting up a t-shirt as a piece of merch and saying, buy my top. There had to be more to it. And I've done runs for Run Melbourne. There's always something coming up where I'm more than happy through MDV to raise funds that, support the lives of people who are going blind or with a disability. But at the end of the day, to anyone that does purchase a t-shirt, it really does help me and allows me to get from A to B. I don't drive myself. I always need a driver or, to pay for Ubers and stuff like that. So, it helps me to be able to keep this machine going and to be able to do what I do and go around the schools and speak and that fun stuff. So, I'm grateful that, it started up. So I didn't actually launch the MDV clothing side of things until 2018. So I was already about 2 years into my advocacy before I thought, I think I could actually make a go of a brand.
Good job.
Yeah.
You're an inspirational guy, don't you think, Paul? He's got great energy as well. Like he's just, you wouldn't know this bloke's been on the road all day, and he's here tonight talking to us. And I just love your energy, mate. What do you think, Paul?
Oh, absolutely, 100%, 100%. Yeah, it oozes out of you, mate. It just flows,
Thank you,
mate. You got your IG? You obviously got all your social media and stuff like that. That's pretty hectic. Things going on. You're doing sort of promos and stuff like that. Can we bring how can someone contact MDV Clothing? Can we bring it up on the screen there, Julio? Push it.
Yes, you can contact MDV Clothing through the Facebook Messenger. You can contact MDV Clothing through Instagram's message, or you can go to mattdegruchyvision.com, which is MDV's website. And that's got all the t-shirts there, but you can also fill out a form to get in touch with me directly. And I've also got me contact details on the website for anyone that may want a keynote presentation.
It's fantastic, mate. You've got your website up there on the screen now.
Do you? Thank you.
And it's a great little website. Now, when you go talk to the kids out there, what's the feedback? What are the kids saying back to you? What are you experiencing out there with young people today? How are they responding to your message?
Well, I reckon I get a pretty positive response. I do get good feedback most times when I do a talk, and I never leave a talk and think to myself like, oh wow, that was amazing, I did so well. I'm always thinking, I could make that sentence stronger, or I could make this bit stronger. So I'm always wanting to get better. I never have like tickets on myself, so to speak, but I do get good feedback. And in December, I think one of my favorite memories was I spoke at a school in December, and there was a student who was also losing their vision. And I think the biggest message they took away from my talk is that how they can look at themselves as it's the ability, it's not the disability. We don't have to be defined by the disability. We can focus on the ability, and that's a big part of what I do. And that was one of my slogans for quite a long time was ability, not disability.
I love that.
And that really sort of struck a chord with me, because I thought, well, that's how I felt as a youngster, and if I could help shift that mindset and give a bit of confidence, even just to one person. I know it sounds like a cliche, but I do what I do because I if I can help one person not feel isolated and scared and alone, that's why I do it. And another thing with that is that I guess misinformation. So when I started to go blind, I was given a cheap pair of swimming goggles, and they got a permanent black Sharpie marker and just scribbled out over the top of the glasses the parts that I couldn't see. And I remember being so freaked out, thinking, wow, this is what I'm going to see, black, which is just not the case at all. In fact, people who have no light perception at all, it's not that they see black, it's just called NLP, no light perception. And for me, if anything, when I'm outside, my eyes are the opposite. I'm extremely light sensitive. If I was to go outside without sunglasses on, I'd be a crying mess. So always dark sunglasses. And I see a mix of lights, shapes, and shadows. I call it a messy Picasso masterpiece. That's what I call it.
It's good.
Unreal. And so what's your vision for the future, mate? Where's Matt heading in your life? Where are you going to be in 5 years' time? If you fulfill all the dreams you want to do, what does life look like in 5 years' time for you, mate?
Well, 5 years' time, a dream of mine, I want to speak at the Vision Summit by Foundation Fighting Blindness in the United States.
Nice.
In my area, in the blindness and low vision community, that's like a pinnacle event for me. But in the next 5 years, traveling public speaker for sure.
You'll be there, mate.
I love what I do, and I'm not gonna. I just want to keep on track with doing the talks, the brand, the clothing, and getting myself out there, and more of the same. I love it.
That is awesome.
Brilliant.
Absolutely awesome. Well, mate, I think we'll go for a quick break and catch a song here on 98.9 Northwest FM. It's Paul Mark and the Tech Guy Show, and we've got the very awesome Matt De Gruchy here with us. Being empowered, mate. Absolutely. Watch out. I mean, you'll be there. Don't you worry about that. Maybe even before 5 years. So,
thank you.
Whatever it is, whatever your path's taken, mate. But sensational. But we'll go to a break. We'll be back with the top 7 around 7. Matt's going to give us a hand, and of course, this is a new segment. I think we brought it in last week. It's Mark's rant. See, Mark loves to rant. If the co-host, one of the co-hosts, he just loves to have a couple of words. So we've got Mark's rant coming up as well. Isn't that right, Julio?
That's right. That's it. Just a small little talk, just a small little discussion time.
And
I'm always here to help out Julio, though. I've got Julio's best interests at heart, and I'm really glad Matt set him straight tonight and give him a pathway forward.
Hang on, Mark, but is that because he's loaded, or what's?
Well, we all know he's loaded, but I'm going to go on that in a minute. Actually, while we're in the break, we're going to just unpack that a little bit more. But the other thing is getting a vision from the inside out. It's a fantastic story you got there, Matt.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Hey, guys, we'll see you on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Don't forget to jump on and give us some messages on Facebook here at whatever the platforms are there, Northwest FM, Community Hut, and obviously Paul Mark and the Tech Guy. We'll be back after this.
Well, there you go, Julio. I think we've got to unpack this clothing business a bit while Paul's off, because you are a big investor. And so, Matt, why did you pick clothing for? You could have done cups, you could have done all sorts of things. What did you go to the clothing for?
I thought that if I did clothing, it was kind of I designed. I have a great graphic designer that kind of helps me vectify the designs, but we ended up settling on the MDV design that's on my t-shirt, and I thought that if the brand was a uniform to wear for my entire sort of my life, really, because I'd have that much stock. But I was lucky that it actually did sort of take off, and I've had a good response, and it's really helped me to be able to get from A to B and do what I love to do, and reinvest and buy new stock to keep up with spring, summer, autumn, winter.
So you've actually been selling a bit of stock. So obviously we've got our investor here, Julio Valencia, and so you've actually got a bit of turnover. You got a market out there. So is that how it's all going?
Yeah, but it's a very small market though. Like it's I'm a one-man band essentially. I pack all the orders myself. I send them all off. So I've had great people that have helped me, I guess, get some of the systems in place and set up. But I am a one-man band. I at this stage I'll probably make enough money to keep me going. But I'm not some big brand. I'm not like a Nike or anything like that. I'm not making big bank, I can assure you.
And where do you get your t-shirts from? Just unpack how the business actually works.
Yeah. So the t-shirt stock is AS color. So and then they get printed in Melbourne. So they were printed at machine screen printers for quite a long time in Abbotsford. And then I have connected with Season Threads, who's a different screen printer, who has actually done the Phoenix tees this time. So local screen printers, but the t-shirts are AS color stock, and that stock is made in Bangladesh.
And you have a bit of stock. Do you have a lot of stock, or like you got a
schedule of t-shirts? I've got a decent amount of stock at home. Yeah, I've got a room sort of dedicated to all my clothing and stuff. No, it's just my room of boxes of t-shirts and jumpers and stuff like that. So yeah, I do like to get stock in. We have gone the pre-order route for the Phoenix tee, just because we're just pre-ordering. We haven't bought in like a decent batch of them. The Phoenix tops are also $70 per t-shirt, so they're at a higher market value. So, me and Ben, obviously, we understand that not every single person will be able to financially afford to be able to buy one and support the initiative. But yeah,
it's good. So, Julio, as an investor, what would you want to know?
Just a couple of questions, basically, as an investor. So my puts me into those things. Have you ever thought about your design, because you're visually impaired, about putting textures and adding why you chose a particular texture onto your brand name as well?
Yeah, I haven't. Texture's great. So everything that I have is screen printed, so as you can feel it. But as far as texture and that sort of touch aspect, I haven't probably dabbled too much in that just yet. I did go recently to an art exhibition where the art paintings were actually texturified. And as I was feeling the paintings, they had like the Starry Night. I don't know if it's Vincent van Gogh, but they had that painting. And as I was feeling the texture, it really does work for what your eyes lack in sight. It really helps to like make the picture a little bit clearer. And I don't know how it works, but I always say that if I was just to see what my eyes are looking at, I would just see pretty blurry stuff. But my brain is always kind of readapting and enhancing the picture as it is. So that is definitely something that, I could look into. I haven't done a Braille t-shirt. That's something that I'd like to do in the future, where you can actually feel a bit of the Braille on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Julio, you might want to read out Megan's message that she's given Matt. What's she saying?
Yeah. Matt, it's wonderful to hear you speak. I have 2-year-old who is legally blind.
Oh, yeah.
ONH and obsessive charm. What is that? Charisma?
Chasm, yeah. And I love that you're such a strong advocate for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, Megan. It's good to hear from you there. It's really good, Matt. You're out there, mate, sort of inspiring others and also helping people that are on a similar journey. I suppose it's not just about blind, is it? It's just about young people that have got, disabilities and or feel like they've got a disability, because it could be an emotional disability or a perceived disability. You know what I mean? Just lack of confidence.
Yeah. See, that's I love that you said that, because I don't wake up in the morning and think to myself, I have a disability. I'm just Matt, and I don't wake up any day and ever think to myself, oh, wow, I can't see much. It doesn't really actually pop into my head very often. So, yeah, that I would love to instill that in others if they can find the confidence to get to a place like that, because, when you are scared and you're young and you think that, oh, it's going to be a disability, I'm not going to be able to do all this, but it's really power of the mind in a lot of cases. And a good mindset can get you a long way.
Yeah, well, perfect. Mate, it's really great, Julio, isn't it, that Matt's inspiring the young people and using this vehicle to really connect and really let everyone know, I suppose, Matt, that we're all the same, eh?
Pretty much we are, yep.
Welcome back, guys. Great to see you guys having a bit of a chat to the stream audience there, as we're playing a little bit of Fat Boy Slim and Praise You here on 98.9 Northwest FM. Great programming here every week. It's community radio, so it's great being on here. We've got the tech guy, we've got Mark sitting in the chair as well, and our special guest tonight, Matt De Gruchy, really inspiring us. Coming up just shortly is the top 7 around 7, which we love presenting. And also Mark's around the corner. So don't go anywhere. We're here till 8 o'clock. And don't forget to check us out. We're back next week, I think, Marcus. Yeah, we got something planned.
Yeah, we've got another special guest next week. Yep. So we're back next week. And then, mate, you're going away. So you're going to leave Julio and I. We'll have a couple of weeks off the show. Have a bit of a break while you're out there swanning around.
We're going to have a break.
Come on, we'll have a break, mate, and while you're overseas.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Mark, you're scared of that seat, Paul? He's really scared of that seat.
Is he scared of the seat,
mate?
Yeah.
Well, you got your big walk, though. We're going to talk about your walk later, yeah? So we've got the big...
Yeah, we're going to talk about all that, mate. Yeah.
All right. Well, look, just if you just joined us first time, Paul, Mark and the Tech Guy, it's a discussion between 3 blokes talking everything community, sports, current and controversial news, and of course, tech. We love hearing the tech stuff that's coming up just before 8 o'clock here on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is the part I love. Watch out, because it is... They're very awesome. Up to you, Julio. We're going we love that. Here we go. Top 7 around 7 with our special
Paul,
guest.
that music's great. I love the music, you know.
The music's sensational, mate. Well done, Julia. We just love it. We're here with Matt De Gruchy, and it's the top 7 around 7, as I've said. We're going to talk tonight the 9 steps to truly celebrating differences. Matt, I need your input on this one, okay, mate? So number 1 is acknowledge the existence of differences. So talk us through
100%
about that. Yeah, agree?
Yep, 100%.
Nice. Number 2,
Before we
embrace.
move on to number 2, mate, just to unpack number 1, mate, acknowledge differences. What does that mean to you, Matt?
Well, I think to me, I think we can acknowledge differences without making people feel less than. So it's to acknowledge that we are all different, but then, bring it back and then focus on, we are different. We have different needs. Everyone's circumstances is unique, but, we've got to come back and treat everyone with respect, kindness, and at a decent level. That's what I make of that comment for sure.
Okay, that's good, mate.
That's very good, mate. Well done. So embrace curiosity. Embrace curiosity.
Love it. Yeah, curiosity to me is perfect. If you do not have a curiosity, what are you doing? Because you've got to be curious about everything, even some of the challenges in life. Still do it with the curiosity, because then it adds a bit of excitement. So,
well, Matt, give us an example of this, mate. Why don't you ask Julio a question, because you're curious about Julio? What would you ask him?
Yeah.
What would you ask him?
What's your biggest passion, Julio?
My biggest passion is tech. Anything to do with technology and moving forward.
That's so good.
Yeah.
There you go. Fantastic.
So there you go.
Awesome. There you go. Okay. Sounds good. So text away, huh? Number 3, practice active listening. Matt? So the steps to truly celebrating differences is number 3 is to practice active listening.
Yeah.
What'd you
so
say?
I think that's to really listen. It's to practice active listening. So you really have to sit, you have to listen, and it's all about not just waiting for someone to stop speaking so then you can go on your your rant or whatever it is. It's really sort of taking what the other person has into consideration to say, and responding when it's appropriate, with a good sort of grasp on how things are, because sometimes you can feel like you're talking to people and then they're just waiting for you to shut up so then they can go on their little tangent.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a gift, isn't it, to be able to do that, isn't it? So it's a gift to be able to listen and really focus. And what'd you say? What are you looking like that for, Mark?
I missed what you said, mate. I missed what you said. I know what I'm going to say.
What are you going to say then, Mark? What are you going to say?
That's all good, mate. Active listening, very important that we listen. And Matt, I've really enjoyed listening to you tonight, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I also one other thing on active listening too is that when people are talking, don't have a deadpan expression. Like, just do a little head nod, like you are acknowledging what they're saying, because some people, if you're talking to them and they're not giving you any, like the subtle head nod, you can think to yourself, are they listening to me? So that's a part of active listening as well, I think.
Yeah, sometimes the old mate Julio, I think he's falling asleep there, so I've got to wake him up a bit, But so no, it's good. He's with us tonight. He's moving around, so I think he's listening to you, Matt, tonight. I think you've got him. I don't know whether you've got his money, but you've got him.
Got him.
Oh, there you go. It seems like you're picking on Julio tonight, mate. What's going on?
I
know. Don't put the pressure.
Sounds like the cash cow.
He is, and that's it.
Good old cash cow. Okay, number 4, foster an inclusive environment. So
foster an inclusive environment. It all comes down to lived experience. So I'm all about getting people with the lived experience to talk about whether, it's a personal experience with a disability or whatever it may be, but don't have people that haven't actually dealt with the circumstance or the situation in their life talk to us. Get the real people with the lived experience that's how we foster an inclusive environment.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate, because I think number 6 is going to come in shortly, but what about number 5? Educate yourself. So it's important, to just celebrate, educate yourself.
Yeah, I think educate yourself, like, with technology now, even me legally blind, I've got screen readers, I've got Zoom text, so I can get on Google and, there's nothing to stop us being educated and finding out stuff, because, you know, if I don't know something or I need to edit something, I'll just YouTube it or Google it. So there's nothing to hold us back, for sure.
Matt, I need to read back exactly what you said earlier today in the show. Ability, not disability.
100%.
I love that. It's just ability, not disability. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of me one of my catchphrases. I personally am all about focusing on the ability, not the disability, because if we just focus on the disability, then, you know, life's gonna be sad. Like, you know, you're just not gonna feel good. So focus on what you can do and necessarily what you can't, and you'll probably find out along the way the things you thought you couldn't do, you actually can do.
Yeah. That's right. All right. Number six. Number six, truly celebrating differences is practice empathy.
Yep.
Marcus.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, I do think we've got to celebrate, because we can actually say that our differences, people can see them as negative, but it's really good that we're all different. I mean, all four of us are different, but we're all together. And I think that's great, you know. And Matt, where does the empathy come into celebrating differences, do you reckon?
Well, I think you've got to have empathy. If you can try and put yourself in the other person's shoes of, you know, how they may be feeling, that's a beautiful thing. I've always tried to approach pretty much every situation in my adult life with a bit of empathy, because everyone goes through stuff. I'm not the only person that, you know, goes through problems. We all have adversity. But like you said as well, like if we were all the same, it would be pretty boring world. So it's good that we're all different.
Can I ask you a question, Matt? Do you reckon I've been showing that with my interactions with Julio? Is that what you're feeling? That how I feel with Julio? Is that showing a lot of empathy?
Oh, bits and pieces, but there's some good banter in there as well, for sure.
I could use different words if you want me to.
I love it. It's sounding good there. Number 7, embrace discomfort. Matt, embrace discomfort.
Yep. Oh, that sounds really good. That reminds me of an awesome team over in America. Yes Theory, seek discomfort. That's what it reminds me of. But you know, you're not going to, for instance, like, you know, I was never confident to go up on a stage and tell my story to strangers. So that didn't come naturally. You have to build your confidence. And that was that was uncomfortable. So I was in discomfort when I first started that. But that's how you push yourself to then, you know, once you've pushed through that, then that doesn't become your discomfort level anymore. Something new becomes your discomfort level. So you just keep building yourself up.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Keep pushing through. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Number 8, show appreciation.
Yep.
So being appreciable.
Yeah, stop and smell the roses. I know that's another cliche, but yeah, be appreciative of what you have. Sometimes, I guess, in the world of social media and the TikTok and all that, a lot of people can be a bit woe is me and sort of look around for what they're missing in their life and not be appreciative for what they've actually got. So, yeah.
That's awesome, mate. Just whilst the guys had a bit of a giggle there, they put up on the screen there, mate, Matt. It said appreciation, show appreciation for Julio. So you're getting a bit cheeky there, tech guy. What's going on there, mate?
Okay, so I'm just wondering, Paul, we've got the 7 in 7 and we're up to number 8. I'm just not sure whether you're adding them up right or what's going on here.
Well, I'm inspired, mate, that you're listening. You're taking notice, so that's really great.
So active listening is good.
Active listening, exactly right. So top 7 around 7. It is the number 9, and this will finish it on this one, is foster mutual respect, Matt. So fostering mutual respect.
Yeah, I think that's it doesn't happen overnight. So you have to build relationships up with people, whether that's, you know, in your professional life, you have to build a rapport. And eventually the respect should be there from the get-go. You should be, you know, if you're a good person, you should have some mutual respect from one another. But, you know, it does build, it gets better over time for sure.
Matt, sometimes people could misunderstand you, though. Like, I reckon tonight's misunderstanding me. I'm trying to help him out with what to do with his money, how to get him going from the inside. So I'm trying to help him, and he's I'm getting the feeling he doesn't think I'm helping him, you know?
I don't know, though, because, you know, you might think that Julio's misunderstood you, but maybe Julio, you know, is in the right. And, you know, maybe we need to practice some more empathy. I don't know. That, you know, there's so many different ways to look at it. So, of course, there's going to be times where we are misunderstood. I get misunderstood sometimes, even with a piece of content that might go on my social media and people were a bit confused, or they leave a comment. They're like, oh, I didn't know that was about blindness, or I don't agree with that. So, you know, things happen where there are miscommunications, but if you're
What
a
do you
kind
do?
person,
It's a really good point. We're going to bring that up a bit later in the rant. But what do you do when people say those sorts of things to you and there's a misunderstanding? How do you respond? Like, how should I respond to Julio misunderstanding my kindness, my empathy, my really looking out for his well-being? How do I respond to that?
I don't know. Ask Julio, how is he going? How does he feel in the moment? Maybe make it more about Julio and not much about you.
Are you feeling misunderstood? Are you
I feel that I need to take some small steps with you occasionally, but sometimes some long steps.
That's awesome. Hey, we had a couple of guys jumping in. Evan Karadakis just jumped in and said hi. Hi, lads. You want to bring that up there, Julio? Great to have you on the stream there, mate. Thank you. Jazz musician. There you go. We're going to get a bit of jazz in tonight, mate.
No wonder you're sort of overemphasizing him because of the jazz. I mean,
well, listen,
you like jazz? You like jazz, Matt?
I've been to a jazz bar like before. I don't probably put it on and just listen to jazz. I'm more of I like rock. I'm a Bon Jovi stan.
I can see that. I can tell it in your voice, mate. It's in your voice.
Yeah.
We've got a few people now saying things. I mean, Simone Skembry. That's a great name, Skembry. I love the name Skembry because I'm a Skembry myself. Maltese. How's that, Paul? We got someone from Malta. Hey,
look at that.
Yeah. Just saw this and I had to watch. I have a young boy, 4 years of age, with OCAI, with a vision impairment. Hi, Matt. How you going? How's things? So, Simone Skembry, love your surname. Love that you're Maltese. What have you got to say to Simone, Matty?
G'day, Simone. Thank you for your message. And the biggest thing I've got for you is that, blindness is a spectrum. It doesn't mean that, we should be sugar-coated or we should be bubble-wrapped or a gold star for participation. Amazing things will happen. And as long as you put your mind to, with your family, everything will be, you'll live a good life.
Great. And we've got Liz as well. And it's she's saying, it's great to see this. Thanks, Matt, for your confidence. It's just amazing. And I agree with her. I reckon your
I don't think it's just amazing. It's just who I am. But thank you. Thank you very much.
And I think we've upset the jazz guy because he reckons jazz is slippery when wet. What does that
mean? It's a song.
Slippery when wet mean?
Slippery When Wet is the best album of all time.
Yeah.
That was a good.
Come on, Marcus.
The jazz guy.
Well, listen, if you want to check him out, he's got his single launch this Friday night on the Smooth Rider Live radio show with me, Evan Karadakis.
Paradise Beach. I'm loving Simone. I'm loving Simone because she is Maltese. And
she is Maltese, of course.
Yeah, and she agrees with what you said, Matt, there about that. And so OCAI. And Lisa says her daughter, something about her daughter, has BBS and is likely to lose her vision. I'm sorry to hear that, Liz. And it gives me so much hope that she can lead a great life. And you are a great role model, Matt. I agree with Liz there. Yeah, you are a great role model to other people that are struggling. You can lead the way with this, your T-shirts, your message. It's quite amazing, mate.
It is.
Thank you. They're great comments, but I'm appreciative of it. I don't do any of it because I think that I'm super confident or whatever. But I just this is what I do, and I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thanks guys for your comments. Keep them running because we've got about another 10 minutes. We'll sort of tone it down from just a little bit after 8, but stick around because it is now. I was going to play a song, but I think we'll go straight into it. It's called Mark's Rant, but hold on a second. I want to play something for you. This is Mark's Rant.
Oh, can't hear it. Can't hear it.
I can't hear it?
No.
All right, go. Next time.
Well, it's my rant, and I tell you what, I do like Simone. She's a Maltese lady and fantastic little town in Malta. Now, Matt, I need your help with my two things I'm going to rant about tonight. One thing is that sometimes you can take on things without knowing the details. And, sometimes people don't give you the details. Sometimes you don't ask for the details, but you do need the details when you're making a decision. Take it from me, right? I organised this trip. and someone said, "Do you want to walk on the mountains?" I said no, and they said, "Do you want to walk in the desert?" And I said yes. And then I found out the desert's got mountains. So that little bit of detail I didn't know. And then today I'm reading the fine print of my walk, and it says you've got to walk roughly 5 and 8 hours a day. Now, mate, I can go for an hour at a stretch. I might be able to walk for 2 hours, but then they're asking me to walk between 5 and 8 hours. They never told me that when they got me to sign up for the Larapinda walk. So, can you understand my frustration about sometimes making decisions based on the wrong information?
Yeah, no, I can relate to that for sure. It sounds like you might need to get yourself a golf buggy or something to complete the walk. But
I've always organise it for him. So
very good point there. Julio's getting the electric scooter. So I know the method that listeners are probably sick of me talking about the Larapinda, but I'm starting my intensive training program next week. Now I said I would do it last week, but I'm going to start next week. Now,
what's the delay, Matt?
For the night is you might be able to relate to this, Matt, but sometimes people have got something against someone, right? They got something against someone, or they've been upset, or something's going on. And you know what? They talk to everyone but the person they're upset with.
Oh,
that annoys me. So if you've got a problem with me, Matt, can you just talk straight to me and tell me?
I will for sure. There's an amazing song by, I think it's called Bring Me the Horizon, and it's called Truth Friends Stab You in the Front. And I love that because, if you've got to say something, you might as well find the bullet.
Yeah. I love that.
Let me write it down. True friends.
True friends stab you in the front.
I've got to say publicly, Julio, if I've upset you tonight, I'm really upset about it. I know you've got a lot of money, but it is up to you where you put all your money. Now, if that's upset you, just stab me in the front.
Oh, you're really ranting on the money, aren't you?
He's really on the money, mate.
Isn't he?
All right, they're my two rants. Let's get the details before we make decisions, and let's talk to the person that we have a problem with. Yeah,
that's right. Just
exactly.
One more thing on that, Mark. I just explain to you one thing altogether here is while you're on this walking thing, just remember this is not a meal. This is a meal.
That's a meal.
This is not a meal. This is a meal.
I love that.
All right, awesome. Julio, I love it, mate. I love it. And Julio, believe it or not, Matt, Julio is my coach for this walk. He's going to make sure I can walk the Larapinda.
Who's listening to who?
Again, he's leading me astray because he didn't tell me I had to walk between 5 and 8 hours. So it's quite amazing there, you know.
I have faith in you. You'll be able to do it for sure.
Yeah.
Now, the mate Evan stabbed me in the front. Even though I said something negative about Jazz, which I take back, he says he's got a problem with me. So at least Evan's told me. And look, Evan, maybe I do like jazz. Maybe I could get to like it. But I really appreciate you telling me you got a problem with me, which is fantastic, Paul. So I think the listeners are starting to get with the program.
Well, he's just saying very, very simply, mate, get to jazz. Start enjoying jazz and then, smooth jazz, fusion. I'm sure Matt would be very open to listen to some sounds. I'll send you a couple of files, Matt. But
did I tell you about Simone? Did I tell you that Simone's Maltese?
You told me, mate, and you also told me something else.
Go Malta.
I won't bring it up. Well, well done for the Mark's rant here on the Paul Market Tech Guy, the Guy Show. I'm getting all tongue-tied and twisted. Stick around because we've got lots, still a little bit more coming up. So we've got the Tech Guy session coming up next. And then we're going to talk a little bit about frame up for next week. But I want to get Matt to sort of think about what would be his closing message for our listeners and for our stream viewers this evening here on Paul Mark and the Tech Guy. So don't go anywhere, Mark. Matt, we still need you. We still need you.
I'll be here.
So here it is. Stay tuned for it's the Tech Guy.
Love it, Julio. Love it.
It's sensational.
All right, Tia. Now we finish with Mark's rant. I decided to include him in the tech review, which is basically to start off with something that will help both me and Paul. And that's getting a bit of some headsets to put onto his ears on this trip, just so we could put some nice messages during his positive walk, together with his new watch. That'll help him out with the new.
Oh, nice, mate. Nice. That's very generous of you, Julio. I told you, Matt, that he was a bit cashed up, and he bought me this lovely watch.
That's right. But best of all, Mark, I'm going to get you a beast blender just for you to start looking at actually nutrition and blending some foods and some protein shakes in
I'll
a
give you
blender
Julio's email. Oh, look at this.
and end up with
Hello.
Beast himself.
Oh, mate.
Beast.
So
That's
this week
the man.
it's all about fitness and togetherness about this first of May. So we're just today's brand or tech is basically on looking after Mark and looking after his health and keeping him up to his steps by phone. So there you go, guys.
Well, that's awesome, mate. That's
Thanks,
talking
Julio.
tech with the tech guy, and he's empowering Marcus for his big walk at Larapinta. We don't want to tell anyone about it, but give us a quick wrap up on Larapinta, Marcus. So what are we raising money for?
We're raising money for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I've got to walk all these Ks and I've got to go up hills. Don't know how I'm going to do it. I've got to walk for 5 to 8 hours. And I've got my coach, Julio, and you can see there he's very generous, but he hasn't really helped me walk anywhere yet. But let's hopefully he'll help me with the walk. But you're supporting a great cause. And I know the whole radio show is going to get behind the Larapinta walk and helping raise money for a great charity called Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
No, that's awesome, mate. Absolutely sensational. Well, don't forget, though, the tech guy is giving you the tools, which is really important. There you go. All right, so it's coming up just about on the hour. So, Matt, you've had an hour of the three guys. What do you think of the Paul, Mark, and the tech guy? How's your evening been? What's your final message to the network?
Oh, well, I've had a great time. Thank you to the listeners that are tuning in. If you've tuned in, and thank you, Mark. Thank you, Julio, and Paul. I think you're a great bloke. It's good banter, and yeah, I wish you all the best with the walk, the Larapinta walk, and raising awareness and funds for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. That's awesome. That's cool initiative. So, what's your step count every day? What do you want to achieve every day with your steps?
Well, what I want to achieve and what I actually achieve is a bit different, mate. But, mate, I'd love to do 20,000 steps a day. But I don't know how many I've done today, but it's nowhere near 20,000.
Oh, no, 20,000 is a good step. But, yeah, I guess my final message in wrapping up would be that, yeah, don't let other people's opinions or projections define you. Don't let your disability define you. There's so many great services out there, and it is okay to receive the help. It's also okay to say, no, I don't want that help. If you can find your voice within yourself. For so many years, I didn't feel like I had my own voice to speak up. So, yeah, please find some confidence in to speak up, voice what is important to you. And, if you have a disability, please don't view yourself as someone with just a disability. Please take the ability, not disability approach. And it's helped me. So I can't speak for everyone, of course, but that's helped me live a happy and fulfilling life. So I wish that for everyone else.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate. Absolutely lovely.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on the show, Matt. Great.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And, Mighty,
well, if you want to contact Matt, sorry, Marcus, there's Matt De Gruchy Vision on Facebook, and you can also check out on the website there. Give us your website address, Matt.
Yeah, www.mattdegruchyvision.com.
Nice. And what about IG? You got Instagram? You got anything like that? Or is that
so Instagram, Facebook, it's just Matt De Gruchy Vision. So Matt De Gruchy _vision.
And also, finally, the MDV Clothing. I love it. Yep. So we want to sell some clothes there, mate.
Yeah. So you do that through the Matt De Gruchy Vision website. So it's all one website. You won't find it if you just type in the letters MDV into Google. That's something I probably need to work on. So it comes up on the first page. But yeah, type in mattdegruchyvision.com and I'll pop up.
Awesome, mate. Well done. Thank you so much, and the best of success in your endeavours, man. And thank you. And we'd love to have you back on the show because I think you're a pretty inspiring young man.
Anytime.
Marcus, final word from you before you start preparing and training for the Larry.
It's been fantastic. And I do like what Matt said to us about finding something within you. And I think looking inside and really going after that is a great message, buddy. So appreciate that.
Oh no, you're
Good on
welcome.
you.
I just think, as a whole, sometimes we look out in the external too much for what's going to make us happy. It all starts from within, for sure. And I know it sounds a bit cliche, but it's true.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. That's awesome, mate. Julio, last final word from you before we.
Like everything at time. Every single Wednesday, I feel loved and cared about, especially by Mark. It's amazing the achievements he puts towards me and the care.
That's awesome, man.
It's an awesome time.
Fantastic, guys. Well done. Thanks again, Matt. Look forward to following your travels as you go there. But thanks, guys, and thank you to our listeners on 98.9 Northwest FM and also Facebook. And if you do, obviously our listeners on the radio can't necessarily see what's going on Facebook, but do encourage you to jump onto our page, Paul Marketing and Tech Guy at Facebook, and you can also see some of the views on Community Heart. We've also got a YouTube page. So check us out, but don't go anywhere because there's lots more coming up on the program tonight or on Northwest FM. We've got music on the hour straight after this. But we'll see you guys next week and have a great week ahead for you, Matt, as well, mate. And it's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Paul, Mark, and the Tech Guy.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
See you the next time. Look forward